Greetings, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome to a special edition part 2, the USA Predictions for 2020 by Oberon.
And me, Banshee. Tarot for today, Divine Dabblings.
All right, let's get started. Well, as you recall, the last time we pulled several cards, and our focus card for the year 2020
For the United States
was the Death card, which is transformation and change. And we said really fundamental change.
really deep, heavy duty change.
So now we want to expound upon each of these cards, and in today's session, we're going to expound upon the idea of what the Death card and change means for us. So we've come up with another reading to work with.
Well, I would like to remind everybody when we did the other reading that the focus theme for that reading was death, and we did 4 other cards in other positions, and each one of these we will be exploring in depth in future, I want to call it episodes, but future segments of this particular special broadcast. So,
All right.
Are we ready to go?
We are ready.
We're going to shuffle the cards, and it was very profound to come up with the Death card as the focus theme of the year 2020 for the United States, I think. The country is very, very evenly divided right now on a lot of different issues. And I think that one could look at this in a variety of different ways depending on what side of this fence you sit on. We're not going to try to go on either side of that fence if possible. We're going to try to read the cards as they fall.
If nothing else, just the idea that this card came up means that the nation collectively, one way or the other, wants huge change.
Desires change.
They may not want the same change, but
Right.
change is what is most sought after.
Shuffle away, Mr. O.
Mr. O will do that.
So today we're going to explore a little bit about what is this change about? How is this going to affect us in a variety of ways, collectively as a nation?
And because we're doing the USA predictions, we have our red, white, and blue card reading banner here for us.
I guess.
I am now going to cut the deck into 3 piles. We will be using that Death card from another deck as our significator.
Okay, so I'm going to move it up just a little bit because I'm going to put a card underneath it if it'll fit. So the first card in the reading is spiritual. How will this change? I'm sorry, I keep forgetting the camera is here. How will this change affect the nation, so far as spiritual transformation goes? Whoa. Oh my goodness. So what do we pull? We have pulled the Hermit card upright. And I think that this transformation or change will affect us spiritually a whole lot. We are going to learn a lot from this year 2020.
No matter where you sit, this card shows that most of us collectively will be hunkering down deep into our spirituality. We will be looking within for messages or wisdom. We will also be looking for others who will show us that message or wisdom.
You are correct, because this is the spiritual card, not the mental card, which is, about, the thinking. But I do believe, and learning, but I do believe spiritual lessons will be learned and assimilated. And also we will be seeking answers from a higher power, I believe, a lot of us. Some of us, too, may in fact be going to our spiritual leaders for advice.
I think so.
Yeah. So, okay. So, and hopefully they'll be getting wise counsel thereof. So the next part is the mental collective mind, a transformation. How will this affect us all, on a mental level? What will be the point of that?
And that card is the reversed Page of Wands. You had them there?
We're going to put it there, yes. I think on a mental level, we have kind of missed the mark as far as learning goes, don't you think?
We're not getting a message. We're wandering away from the message. We look a little bit sad about that. We're not able to grasp the message. Somehow the message's meaning
Eluding
has
us.
been elusive to us or is not quite there for us.
Yeah,
It could also imply deliberately that someone is possibly delaying that message or,
manipulating the message as well.
yep,
There could be some message manipulation going
that's what
on.
it makes me feel.
Yeah, I see that. I do. And on the physical level, what
So this could really be talking about our fake media too, in a way.
fake media, it could be talking about people trying to send out fake news, not necessarily from the mass media, but from other sources.
Transformation
Propaganda.
of education systems, transformation of delivery systems of news and information.
I guess in a way, because it is a wand and it's not a sword, I don't want to emphasize the communication aspect too much.
That's
but
true.
Since it is on a mental level, I do feel like we're missing the mark here. We're failing, in some way to get the proper message we are supposed to, or information that we need to make an informed decision.
And this card represents,
Well, this is very interesting to me. This represents our physical well-beings in the year ahead. I think, this could be financial. This could also be, physically, and maybe even how the U.S. is doing as a, with climate, etc.
and it is the Four of Swords reversed.
Because when I think of physical nature, I also think of the earth. Well, it's interesting because it seems like there's a reawakening going on here. It seems as though, there is a healing in a way.
After a long time of maybe not being able to awaken to this message or being actually unconscious, many are now awakening, or that collectively we are going to see that. And you're talking about
You're not talking about this message.
right. No, this is, you're talking about the physical state.
Right, the physical state. So I think
this could imply a lot of things.
it could imply a lot of things.
It could
Go
imply
ahead.
how we feel about the climate in our country, how we could feel about infrastructure, how we feel about politics on some level.
And you know what? Let's think about this a little bit because I think you touched on something here. It is an awakening. It's an awakening to, well, we both said that. It's an awakening to the fact that, we need to look out for ourselves. We need to look out for our, what really benefits us as a people.
Agreed, because it is more than an awakening. It is also a return to some sort of activity. Those who maybe have absented themselves too. And if we think about it, there may be large majorities or minorities within majorities of people who have literally checked out. We saw this in the last election, if we want to go there, who just
For whatever reasons decided not to vote. Either their vote wouldn't count, they didn't like who was running, whatever the case they may be, they chose, their choice was to not make a choice.
And yes, and it's like Rush said, if you choose not to decide.
If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
So this card seems to indicate that this time around, in the next year at least, people are not going to be making that choice. They are going to be returning to an active choice. Okay. And we have one more card.
We do have one more card. And that card is basically, so what major change or transformation, will we see by the end of 2020? What is this really going to embody and entail? Oh.
And we have the reversed Ten of Pentacles.
You know what, that seems to me that collectively we have lost something here by next year. I hesitate to say we might be losing our collective identity, maybe in the sense of, our closeness, maybe as a people we are becoming further apart instead of more like a family.
Right. The typical meaning of the card tends to do with family, but it also talks about that foundation or infrastructure of family.
A little bit.
So if the collective family is, in fact, the network, the infrastructure, what keeps us together as a country. And that's many things. It's things that are more abstract and things that are more physical. These things may have serious default lines showing by this time next year, where literally nobody feels that that infrastructure or foundation is healthy or strong enough. It doesn't mean it's collapsed, but it means people are starting to notice that it is in some serious disrupt mode.
And remember, the tarot is a snapshot in time. This may not come to pass. Different changes along the way could change this fate. Right now, what I'm looking at, if we want to kind of sum it up, is that there is some good here, but there's some not so good. I mean, we're missing the mark message-wise. We also seem to stand something to lose as far as our collective identity or, you know, our nation goes, and you can expound on your opinion there. And also, you know, there's this great awakening that could happen that really could be a positive thing. So, you know, there's a lot going for us, but it just seems as though ultimately we stand a lot to lose here, you know, depending on how things transpire. And go ahead. I'm going to let you go ahead. And...
Well, I can't really add much more to that, Banshee. I do think that spiritually some things are in process over this year, moving us towards wisdom or the seeking of wisdom or the seeking to share our wisdom. But I also feel, too, that in a greater collective sense from that, this was the mental, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
because this is the physical. That there's a disconnect that's still going on. And so the role of the hermit will be magnified in a way because the hermit is the person who stands above and is able to show that. Many of us in our communities are the hermits of our community. We will be hard-pressed to work with those who are not able to understand or who are disillusioned with the message or feeling it's failed. And furthermore, so much will be going on in the infrastructure that this too will cause more defeatism in our populace. So it's so important that the hermit really rise up. All the hermits, all the seers, all the healers, all the workers of energy will need to be on board totally for the Great Awakening.
Wow, Mr. O, that's an awesome little summation there. You said you did not have anything much to add, but there you go. You did. And no, I'm not tossing a Lenormand for any of these. This is just the tarot talking to us about, you know, 2020 in the United States. And what we are going to follow up now, the Death card was the first card we drew in the general reading we did for the U.S. So basically, we have to do the other cards, and we're going to go in depth on all of them in future segments. The next one we will be doing is on the economy.
All right.
So we'll be looking in more detail on what's happened in the economy. And that card that we drew initially, just to give everybody a peek of what we're going to be looking at, was the Eight of Wands reversed. Sounds like a stall.
So join us for our next one. This has been TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings.
With and me, Banshee. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.